My name is Lyell Banman. I am the sales representative for Bel-Car Export and Import. I started working there in 2016, and I was working in the auto parts industry before that, and then Bel-Car saw my performance there, and they realized it would be very helpful for the sales position. The history of Bel-Car is, it began as a private endeavor. It was a private company of a few people from the community that they were cleaning the pulses, and eventually the production increased to such an extent where they had to seek markets outside of Belize. So a couple of community leaders went out to the Caribbean to look for a market, and they found customers, and eventually production increased even more, where the Spanish Lookout community formed a cooperative, and they put together their money and they bought state-of-the-art processing equipment or cleaning equipment. So that's kind of, it was a basis of like a need to move product away or outside of the country, because there was just too much for the country to consume. So we formed a cooperative and started selling in the early 2000s. So the Mennonite Community was founded in 1958. It was a group of Mennonites immigrating from Mexico and Canada, and their goal was farming. They've always been farmers I would say, for the last 500 years, going all the way back to the Netherlands. So farming was our thing always, and also the government of Belize invited us even for this purpose, that we would make use of the soil, we would start farming, and we would supply the country of Belize with pulses as well as other grains and very important food staples. Pulses trade in the Caribbean. It's our main country of destination where we sell pulses to is Jamaica, and so they are just one of our largest consumers of the Belize pulses. And we also sell into Trinidad. They take a lot of our product too, and we sell to Guyana as well. Volumes that we export out of Belize, let me start with black-eyed beans. We produce roughly 2,700 metric tons. This is all for export. It's a cash crop for export. Belize does not consume black-eyed beans. And then the light red kidney beans, we produce an estimated amount of 5,000 metric tons, maybe a little more. And half of that is exported into the Caribbean, and about 1,700 is consumed locally, and about 1,100 metric tons of those are exported into what we call the world market, or outside of the Caribbean. Typical Belizean dish is rice and beans and chicken. So I believe almost every Belizean has rice and beans about 3 times a day. The quality this year was exceptionally well. It was much better, and it was an improvement over last year, or even an improvement over previous years. I would say similar. It was the same, but the per acre yield was higher. So we had less acres planted, but the yield per acre was much higher. So we had good quantity. It was very nice. We're very happy for this year's crop, 2019. The factors that helped us for this positive outcome was that this year the weather was very favorable for seeding and for harvest. Look, expansion in pulses for Belize. We've always sold into the Caribbean, and if we have excess, we do have very good reception outside of the Caribbean. We have established clientele in North America. We have very well established clientele in Europe. We do have good road ends to the Middle East. So I believe the GPC convention is a very good arena for Bel-Car to build those relationships outside of the Caribbean, so that when we do have access, we can move it to these locations. The challenges we face with pulse production in Belize, I would refer back a little bit to weather. There is quite a bit of problem with the weather. With some of these pulses, they just don't. The Belize weather is hard for some of these pulses. That would be one challenge. So that's climate, and secondly, we are in the proximity of Central America, and as you know, Belize is a higher. I would say our wages are, on average, higher than most of Central America. So this makes our production less competitive, because when we pay higher wages, the end product always seems to be a little bit higher cost.